All right. Hey guys, so I just wanted to make a quick video here. Been getting a lot of questions about the antibody test and also the immune response testing. So I wanted to just do a quick video to explain what those things are and what they mean and just like I said, some of the specifics. So the antibody test is looking for two things. One is IgM antibodies. Those antibodies show up after a fairly short period of time. So after about 3 to 5 days of being infected with the virus, we'll start seeing IgM antibodies rise in the person if they are healthy enough to mount a good immune response. And then IgG antibodies happen over a more prolonged period of time. So more like 3 weeks. After 3 weeks, a person would start or would have detectable or reactive IgG antibodies to this COVID-19 virus strain. And so those are things that are evaluated in the test. Reactive IgM antibodies, reactive IgG antibodies. This test is a highly validated test, which means it's gone through a lot of testing and it's been evaluated for specificity and accuracy. And so we're looking at correctly identifying those who were infected, correctly identifying those who were not infected. So we're looking again at accuracy of the test. And again, this test has been validated with high specificity, high accuracy. And so that's something that's important to know. So regarding this antibody test, it's not 100%, just like no test is 100%, but it has a 96% accuracy rating. So that's something that you can have a certain fairly high level of certainty that if you test positive that you've made antibodies, that's what it means. It means that you've made antibodies to this COVID-19 test with 96% certainty. Now there are a few other viral strains that can cause a person to create antibodies. People will ask like, well, could I get infected again if I have it and I have antibodies? Yeah, we don't know how long those antibodies are going to last for. Typically, people would say 3 years or more, and then they kind of dwindle over time. Your immunity dwindles over time. So that's one thing to consider. Again, a person could get the chickenpox or some other virus more than once also if maybe they didn't have a significant case initially and they didn't create these antibodies. The virus could mutate. Those things are possible. So nothing is 100% or foolproof anyways, but the test that we have is like I said, is very specific, highly validated, and very accurate. So I think you can have a pretty strong degree of certainty when that these test results are accurate. It does not tell us if the person has an active infection at the time. So I think that that's something that's important to know. That is done through the PCR test, the nasal swab or stool sample to find if the virus is present in the body. So I think, again, those are things that are important to look at. But this does not tell us whether the person has the virus or does not have the virus. I think, again, there's been some questions on that. So I think that pretty much sums that up. That test is $195, and it's a blood draw, and that can be done right in our office. The turnaround time is about 2 to 3 days. The other test that we are recommending, actually, we're not necessarily just recommending it. The Institute for Functional Medicine said we ought to be looking at IL, the interleukin cytokine pro-inflammatory markers. And so that's interleukin 6 and interleukin 1 beta, IL-1 beta and IL-6. Those are pro-inflammatory immune system, immune pro-inflammatory markers. That means the immune system is going through this inflammation process. So initially, the IL-6 needs to increase, and actually they both need to increase and then go away. And what they're finding is that people that are really struggling with this virus is they're going up, but then they're staying up, and then those things start creating damage to the lungs, can create fibrotic tissue and all kinds of other, just wreak havoc on the body. And so, again, we want to know if a person already has these immune pro-inflammatory markers, they might have some trouble fighting this infection. And we want to get that inflammation down right away before they do come in contact with this. It's likely that we will probably be faced with this virus again. So again, knowing that you have antibodies does mean that you have immunity. How strong is it? We don't know. How long is it? We don't know. Nobody does. So that's not the point. But you do have a fairly strong certainty that you have immunity based on the test. So that's nice. Again, that's nice to know. But we also want to know, what do we do? Like, if you have high levels of inflammation prior to, well, we better do something about it. The other thing that they found as they were studying responses in people that have had this is that having a low vitamin D levels was very detrimental, and maybe we didn't make antibodies because our immune system wasn't strong enough. So vitamin D is responsible for regulating the immune response, regulating white blood cell response, for creating adaptive and innate immunity. So having optimal vitamin D levels of 60 to 80, 60 to 100 was very critical in mounting a strong immune system response. And again, also having low levels to begin with of inflammation. So the immune response testing the IL-6 and IL-1 beta, immune inflammatory, pro-inflammatory markers, we do need to see that. And we also want to know the vitamin D levels, because those things are critical to mounting a good, solid immune response. So there's 3 tests. The antibody test, it's 195. The immune response testing is 150. Vitamin D test is normally 40. And so what we've decided to do is you could buy any of one of those individually, or you could buy the combination, which would be, we actually decided to price that at $345, so there's a fairly significant savings. If you do the antibody test, the immune response test, the interleukin, the IL, the cytokines, that test plus the vitamin D is $345 for getting all 3 of those tests done. Or you can do one test, like $195 for the antibody test. It's $150 for the immune response test, and the vitamin D is $40. So if you wanted to do the immune response test plus vitamin D, that's $195. So I think that that it'd be $190 for the vitamin D plus the immune response test. Hopefully that answers some questions for everybody. But again, we're just trying to look at how do we know the situation that we're in? Do we know whether we have made antibodies to this virus or not? And then also, what's the status of our immune system? Are we already pushing the envelope? Are we revving the RPMs already with these inflammatory cytokines? Well, we need to know that so we can get them down right away. And is our vitamin D in the right place? And again, of course, then we want to talk about some dietary recommendations. We want to talk about what do we do with this information? Are we eating foods that are pro-inflammatory? Are there supplements that we could be taking that would lower the inflammation? What else can we do to get in a better state? Are we taking enough vitamin D, or how much vitamin D should we be taking? All those things are really important. I'm going to follow up with some videos. We'll probably do those as Facebook Live videos on the Institute for Functional Medicine supplements that they're recommending for this, specifically for the coronavirus, and then also some lifestyle habits that we can do that will help us to just be healthier, safer, protecting ourselves. Guys, you know how we feel about this. You're not going to hide from this virus forever. It's just not going to happen. That's no way to get to have immunity or protection. I mean, you know, hiding isn't responding. So we want to like put our best foot forward. That's what functional medicine is. How do we improve our health so that when we do come in contact with this thing, we don't have to worry about it. We don't have to worry for ourselves. We don't have to worry for our kids. We know that our immune system's in a good place, and we'll be able to handle it. We can't just stay closed off until hopefully it goes away or changes or whatever. So, anyways, I think those hopefully summarize it. If you have any questions, please let us know. We're happy to help. And I think this is good information and things that people should have and be aware of. And so we're happy to get them to you. So we do need to know if this is something you want to do, please get back with us and let us know what you want to do. You're okay with the cost and the expense, and we'll get you scheduled to do it. And that's it. All right. Talk to y'all soon. Love you guys. God bless you. And let's get healthy and then not be worried about what's going on with this stupid virus.